That might mean you're sitting in a chair, you might be lying down. But I think it's important when we start a meditation to take a moment to be very conscious of our posture, trying to invite lengthening along the spine if we're sitting. Even if we're lying down, trying to find at least a straightness perhaps through our body, feeling the support underneath us and settling onto that support. So allowing a relaxation to happen through the body, but at the same time, kind of maintaining a sense of presence, of alertness. To start, let's bring our attention to the breath. And as many of you know who have a practice, there are countless objects that we could use during the practice of meditation. And I thought it'd be nice to use the breath during this sit as the object of our meditation. It's a very classic practice. So that may be a very different experience for different people. Notice how you're connecting with the breath in your body, and you're likely going to become aware of sensations that are occurring. It may be a sensation at the nostrils, maybe in the area of the upper chest, the rib cage, maybe lower in the torso at the belly. And you may have a very broad experience of the breath. You may be experiencing it through the entire body. You may even experience the breath beyond the physical boundary of your body. So it doesn't matter if it's a very zoomed in local spot on the body that you're focused on, or a more global, larger area. Just holding your attention with the breath through the body sensations. And if there are other sensations competing for your attention, you may have a discomfort somewhere in the body. You may feel a heat or coolness somewhere that tugs at your attention, an itch. We're going to do our best to develop our concentration by letting everything else be in the background. So nothing needs to stop. Including sounds that might be in the environment. We're just not going to pay attention returning over and over again to the experience of breathing in the body anytime the attention gets pulled away. So to start, we're going to just kind of be with the breath. We are making some effort to hold our attention here, but it's just to kind of hang out. We're going to open to our experience. It doesn't matter if the breath feels kind of tight or short or constricted, or if it feels deep and relaxed, whatever we're encountering, just doing your best to be very open and welcoming in this breath space. Kind of like you're slipping into a warm bathtub, just settling into the breath, trying to keep it to the forefront of your attention, to the foreground. Everything else can kind of fade into the background. And we may notice that each inhalation requires a bit of effort, a bit of doing, and each exhalation is a letting go. As we're holding the attention with the breath, just inviting a softening through the shoulders, through the face, through the chest and belly. Then through the whole body. So we're keeping a light attention on the breath at the same time as we're inviting a letting go of any tension that we detect, any holding. So we're going to bring a little more sensory clarity to our experience now. Wherever your attention is, whatever sensation you're focused on, see if you can detect more subtlety within that experience. If, for example, my attention is at the nostrils, I might notice that there is a change in the temperature of air that's traveling inside the nostrils compared to the air exiting my body. I might notice that there seems to be a bit of a drawing in physically as I inhale with my nostrils. And as I exhale, it feels very subtly like they're kind of billowing out. I may notice a tingling, buzzing, maybe a feeling of pressure on a particular side of my nostrils. I may get a sense of how much space this sensation seems to take up. It might feel very small around the nostrils, like the size of a ping pong ball. But of course, if I'm covering a larger area with my attention, it may feel like it's as big or larger than my body, the sensations of breathing. So we're trying to experience this not from the mind. So, not like we're looking down from a watchtower in the mind, but actually move our awareness down into the sensation itself. So, like we're experiencing it from within. And the mind might have some things to say, it might have a commentary or a little narrative. It might wander outside of this practice to things that may be happening later in the day. It may get hooked by a memory, something that's happened. And that's okay because that's what the mind does. That's what happens to all of us at some point in our practice. So as soon as we realize our attention has wandered, we just gently bring it back to the breath, anchor the attention to a sensation in the body related to our breathing, and then see what we can notice. Look for movement in the sensation, for change. It may get a bit intense and then ease. Sensation may grow in size, spread, it may shrink. It may become more of a bubbling sensation of waves. So more and more we want to drop the mind's filtering of our experience. So perhaps at a point we can even let go of the idea that this sensation is related to the breath. And just experience it as a sensation. Just like we hear sounds that arise and pass, we have thoughts that come and go, we have emotional sensations that are constantly changing, physical sensations, pleasant and unpleasant, that come and go. So let's be with the sensation and notice its qualities. but not need to go to the mind to relate it to anything in particular. And we do this little investigation in a very fresh way, like we've never encountered this sensation before. It's brand new. Not as not assuming anything, not expecting anything. Just letting the attention or focus become completely absorbed by this experience. So, for the last 10 minutes of our sit, we're going to now relax our attention completely. So, we're going to let go of the breath, of these sensations as the object of our attention. And we're going to try to sit for these next few minutes without anywhere to land our attention. So we're not directing our focus. We're not looking to make anything happen. We're not looking for a particular experience. We're doing our best just to rest here as open awareness. And it may be helpful to include all physical sensations equally, all sounds, anything arising in the visual space, whether that's with our eyes open, noticing what we see in the external environment, including what we see with our eyes closed, what we hear in the inner hear space, that auditory mental space. We open to everything equally without our attention landing on anything in particular. And what will likely happen is our attention will land on something in particular, an object. It may be a thought, and you notice your attention contracts and narrows onto that thought. It may be a sensation in the body that tugs at your attention. So, when that happens, when you realize that your attention has contracted, simply relax it. Relax the mind, opening once again to everything equally, to the spaciousness within which all of this phenomena arises and passes. So, not just all of the space within this body, but all of the space surrounding it. And you can start by getting a sense of the space in the room around you, behind you, above you, below you, but also the space beyond your room, if you're able, to the space beyond the dwelling you're in. There doesn't have to be a boundary to this spaciousness. And the thoughts will continue to arise and pass. Some of them are very juicy. Some of them have hooks that snag us for a time. We may hear a sound that triggers some thoughts, that triggers perhaps some emotions. So when that happens, just notice what's happening to your attention. Notice that narrowing. Just become aware of that process as best you can. And when you're ready, just dropping any interest in the particular object. This is very hard to do, especially with our thoughts. Like a hot potato, just drop it mid-thought if you have to. We're not interested in this time in looking to the mind for anything. Because nothing needs to be sorted out right now, nothing needs to be fixed, remembered, held on to. If there are emotions arising, it's no problem. Just let them arise into this vast open space. Don't need to engage, and we don't want to push anything away. Just keep relaxing and opening. If your eyes have been closed, you could try opening them for the last few minutes of the meditation. You could open them to a soft gaze. You could open them fully, but try to not let the mind start to engage. And it's hard. We get a lot of information in through the visual space, but just try to almost look through things, not at things. There are shapes and shadows and light, colors. So we can be aware of the visual environment, but not need to do anything about it. Just include it in all of the other sensations, thoughts, feelings that are coming and going. If the mind snags your attention, you see that you're engaged with a thought, you can unplug instantly from a thought. We don't need to have it play out. Just do your best to keep relaxing the mind's grip on any object. And we can complete the practice if you want during this last minute by bringing the attention back to the breath, to narrowing our attention to the physical sensations in the body related to our breathing.